very snowy today.
Literally sitting in a pool of your own pee. What?
Ain't no way, pal.
I'm supposed to update this yesterday, but I was not in the mood. So I have 3 days to catch up on, and I also took out a bunch of stationery that I want to use. Doing this at breakfast. I have a very busy week ahead, but you gotta make time for journaling. I also got these in the mail last Saturday from Danny. So see, I'll use some of them. And I'll show you this new thing that I've done to my PET tape sample so far. I don't know if it's the best solution, but this is it's a photo album that I repurposed for ephemera when I was traveling, and now it kind of houses all the samples that my lovely friends have given me. There are a lot, but I categorize them per type. I still have a couple pockets, so the remaining ones would be like Abbey PET tapes and probably Job's. So then I have the whole collection here. I don't have to keep like looking for all my rolls. That being said, also have a bunch of my favorite stickers here from Serica, Everyday Explorers Co. from my stash, and we're gonna kind of get in the groove of things. Also rarely take this out, these transfer stickers, but I had matcha for during Valentine's Day, so I was like, yeah, might as well use this one as well. So yeah, let's get to it. It's been a while since we caught up, so I thought it would be nice to share with you how I've been documenting my days, especially during the winter. To be honest, I wasn't planning on making a little winter vlog, but the past few days have just been really covered in snow here in Berlin, and I wanted to document those moments and remember them by. I always say like winter is it's my least favorite season because it's just cold and the sun is like nowhere to be found. But the past few days the sun was it was pretty sunny here, and I really enjoy that, and I'm always finding excuses to go outside, get some fresh air. The burden of having to wake up early without the sun there or without daylight has been difficult, but we're on to longer days, which I think is a huge relief. And February is always an in-between month for me. I've been learning to appreciate the ebbs and flows of life more this particular month, because every February since 2022 has been really rough for me. It was either I was moving, I was going through some personal stuff, and this time I just want to embrace the present. And I know that's easier said than done, but I'm really trying. So there are a lot of things that I've kind of like shaken up in my routine. For example, for some reason, I have been really into matcha. I actually just finished my last serving of matcha while recording this voiceover, and I've been listening to a lot of music. So you probably have seen that I have a new record player. It was given to me by a good friend in Frankfurt. Thank you so much, 𝚒𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑𝚑 Rode. Those are the two records that I bought. And when you're listening to music, I like to listen to records that I don't mind skipping because, you know, there's no skip function. So I've been really enjoying those, and I've just been using a mix of PET tapes and stickers that were given to me. This was given by Michelle. Shout out to Michelle. I love the illustration, and ideally for this very snow-covered past couple of days, I wanted to do like a full-on snow spread. But because of the matcha thing and like just kind of putting out my stationery, I went for a green-blue color combination, which I think is always a great match. Valentine's Day was so eventful. As someone who has been chronically single, I did so many things, from filming to working to taking the train, which was so crowded, by the way. Everyone was holding up bouquets of flowers. I still hope for the day that I get to receive flowers, because I'm just a girl who just likes to receive flowers occasionally. And then we stalked Timothée Chalamet at the Berlinale red carpet, which took forever for him to arrive, but he was wearing this like pink hoodie, which was nice and very Valentine's coded. But yeah, and then we ended up having hot pot with a couple of friends, and it was super nice, and we had ice cream, and then the day ended. So Saturday, I just really wanted to take it easy, but snow was falling, so I ended up going to my PO box and picking up mail. Sundays are always difficult for me. I don't think I've ever shared that much, but actually it's the day that my father passed away. Wow, father sounds so serious. My dad passed away on a Sunday many years ago. So I've always kind of had weird feelings about Sundays, and I try to give myself a bit more patience dealing with these luxurious empty days. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always think that Sundays are supposed to be slow, but I think the way that I go about my weekends, at least if I have nothing on, like no social obligations or no meetups, is I try to do things that I don't get to do much on weekdays. And as I got older, now that I'm in my early 30s, I really appreciate getting enough time to do the things that I like. For example, I could just rot. I hate that word, but like I could just spend 3 hours reading in the couch. Or it took me maybe 3 hours to make the lasagna because it was my first time making actual lasagna from scratch. But these are the moments that I know I'm going to be looking back once I'm older. Wow, that sounds so poetic. I'm gonna look back at them and realize how much I've enjoyed the tranquility and silence and coziness and quiet of being by myself. Saturday I actually worked a bit. Sometimes I like pushing out my work to putting it off until the weekend, like Saturday, because this is the kind of work that feels a bit more like I can combine it with watching a movie, and I'm very lucky to be in a position to be able to do that kind of work. But I recently watched this movie, Perfect Days. I don't know if I mentioned it on YouTube, but I really love it. And the main character, his vibe was literally like lying down on the floor, listening to records and listening to music and reading. And I realized that's the kind of Sunday that I would like to have. And I'm not a routine-based person, but I do have certain activities and tasks that give myself a moment of peace. And I think those are some of the moments that allow that. And I always think like, you know, life moves on and we go through it. Sometimes on autopilot, sometimes I'm just not sure. Like, you know, I snap out of it and you're like, wait, this is my life? Question mark? And it's nice to be reminded of being fully present and not worrying too much about the future. This is something I'm telling myself because I'm always chronically anxious and super worried about things not turning out the way they are. But we all know well enough that every decision we make will lead to something that may be good or may be bad, but I think we will have enough strength and energy to deal with how things unfold. And with my word of the year being balance, I need to catch myself if I'm going down that rabbit hole of worry or like feeling like I'm not doing enough, like, or if I'm feeling like I'm doing too much, because at the end of the day, I just want to feel the most myself. Like every year that I live through, I always want to access the truest version of myself, whatever that means, and however that is influenced by my decisions or how I live through life or where I'm living. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that is a reminder to just really appreciate the fleetingness of life and the fleetingness of this winter, as I think this is probably the last time I'll film a winter vlog until, you know, spring rolls around. And while I'm looking forward to that, I really had quite cozy and super nice winter season. I feel like my current pages have a recurring theme. It's like bluish or warm. I think it's highly inspired by the fact that I got the Midnight's vinyl record, and these were the finished pages that I cranked out this Monday morning. I am admittedly late for work, but it was nice. I really feel always caught up because I always go by like not going past 3 days of not updating. So I know you all have asked about like coordinating stickers and stuff, so I definitely want to explore more on that in future videos. This was the Valentine's Day page. This was Saturday. I really liked the juxtaposition of the greens and like the olives and the blues, so that was like the primary colorway for this spread. And then here I really like this because of the yellows and the warm colors, and I finally have an excuse to use this all the new music stamp because I have a record. And then I kept it was so expensive, I kept the tag for Midnights. So yeah, this is gonna be for today because I've been super hyper fixated on 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘. Do you pronounce it like 𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘𝚘? I'm very late to the game, but you guys, their music is great. So here are a couple more pages. I will share in the future.